Hey everyone, and hey ladies out there. I'm going to make this video specifically for you. This is in reference to a CBC News article. Headline: We've kept the ball rolling. Canadians mark 1 year since Women's March. Canadians say they're rallying with a new focus on women in politics. Before I continue on down into this article, I just want to point out, if you use sex, if you fall for this divisive narrative, this dividing of the sexes narrative, well, you're just going to be one of those people. Well, you'll ultimately you will end up being one of those bitter women that look out there on the landscape, no matter where you live, East Coast, West Coast, Central Canada, or anywhere in the North, or anywhere in between. You will notice very quickly, especially in the social media era, in the social media age, that what you're really doing is you're putting yourself out there as saying, I'm off the market. Because no man, no decent, compassionate, moral, reasonable man respects a woman that wants to dominate them, or that wants to pit one sex against the other, or look at them as their oppressor. No man respects a woman that sees or thinks in that manner. Now, you might think it's cool, with all this politics going on and the anti-Trump rallies and all the hatred and vitriol put forth and presented towards him because, misogyny, sexism, grab her by the pussy comments and all this shit, right? But in reality, what you're doing, it's not even that, I'm not standing up for men here in particular because they'll be fine. Most women out there aren't this ridiculous and will find a decent, good man in spite of all the efforts of this division among the sexes by these special interest groups, by these ultra-feminists, by these SJWs. But for those of you who do go to these meetings or these rallies that are basically all about women and fuck men, well, like I say, this is the modern information era. Your picture, there's videos. You will be seen as one of those people that are truly trying to divide the sexes. Why would you ever think that even other women, like even people like my wife, don't respect women like this? She has no respect for a woman that puts forth or some kind of pretense that men are all oppressors and women are just helpless victims. Matter of fact, she would be one of the first people, other than the fact that she's not a public speaker and she doesn't get actively involved in these kind of things. But if she did, she would be the first one out there to say, this is not how you go about things, ladies. If you want good men, promote and respect those good men and say that. Don't just try to paint all men as misogynist, sexist, oppressors of women. Because basically that's what the message we're taking from these kinds of rallies. That's what men are taking from these people. And we also recognize that a lot of you ladies, the ones in these rallies, are government workers. So you're already in an institution that is wholly oppressive, not just towards men, but women and children. Especially with the amount of debts and deficits, you're enslaving future generations and the unborn at this point if you work in the public sector. You might want to concern yourself with that. You want to put on a little pretense of benevolence towards the unborn and towards women and young girls that are going to be forced to pay for the nonsense and the rampant growth of the state and the rampant growth of government. That now, 71% in Canada, 71% of all people that work for all levels of government are now women. Not being too oppressed there, are you? How about the healthcare fields? How about education? Totally dominating all those fields. But yet, you try to pretend that you're oppressed by the patriarchy, by overbearing authoritarian men. Well, there may be some of them, but you know what? Point to those people, point to those individuals. And you'll find out real quickly, in real quick succession, that there are men like me and a lot of us out there that will stand in solidarity with you against these authoritarian pieces of shit. But let me tell you, before I tie this video up. A lot of those men, they're not these alphas that you pretend that you hate. Those are the betas. Those are the omegas. Those are the men that aren't really men. Well, they're males, right? They are of the male species, but men, no. So point to those individuals, rail against those individuals, and you'll find out quickly that there are a lot of men that will stand with you and defend you against those types. But if you try to use collectivism and the pretense that all men are that way, well, they'll just turn a blind eye. They'll just shrug and brush you off. And in the end, you'll only be surrounded by a bunch of hate-filled, male-loathing, self-destructive women that will bring you down with them if they get the chance. It's Canadian Libertarian. I love liberty.